Hello. So today we are going to continue with a distributed version control system. In previous class, we had seen that's software as a service that with the help of scalable Facebook testing, how Info, Spinies, FP Learner, Facebook One World platform helps in doing scalable Facebook testing. Then we are going to discuss about distributed version control system. In this, we'll see version control system, central version control system, distributed version control system. We will compare this CVC and distributed version control system. Git, then we'll see Git, GitHub repository, and then GitHub desktop as client for this repository as a service. Then this Git-LFS we'll see. First of all, what is version control system? So it is like various revision happens in various type of source codes or some software or some documents. So this revision control is being done with the help of version control. Then various source code control also there. Source code management happens with this version control system. Then it's also responsible for managing changes that happens with computer programs, document, or some large website. So there are various other kinds of information that are collected and being used with version control system for managing those changes. Then it is basically software configuration management. What does it mean by it is one of the component of software configuration management. So software configuration management is a large, bigger picture of how softwares are being maintained and evolved. So this software configuration management is part of that software maintenance and evolution. In this software maintenance and software configuration management, this version control system has been used. Then VCS version control system is one of the standalone application. Then centralized version control system. So what happens? Single server holds whole code database in this CVC, and client can access the code from server by check in, check out. So the CVC examples are like CVS, centralized version control system, Subversion, Visual Source Safe. What is advantage of this CVC? It's simple to manage in a single server. Then what is disadvantage? So it's a single point of failure. Suppose if that server, single server fails, then there's it will be difficult to manage, means recollect the lost information. Then there's a distributed version control system. So it is also known as distributed revision control. So what is the purpose of this? What is the reason of this? It stores complete code base and it includes full history, and that actually being used for every development, and the development part could be helped with this CVC. Then this how it enables it enables automatic management of branching and merging. It helps this DVC, distributed version control system, helps in speed up of this operation process of pushing and pull of code repository. Then it improves ability to work offline, so you can pull your repository in your laptop or machine, so you can work offline. Then it does not rely on single location of backup. Means the code is distributed among various developer as well as at the server, so that the various commits could be done. So commit would be final, server will make the change. Then each client holds a copy of code base. So each client makes changes in their local repository. When final changes are being done, then it was pushed towards the server, main server, and commit will be done by the administrator. Then there's each client hold a copy, and then code is being shared between clients by push and pull. So as I already told that push could be done towards server and pull could be done on the repository. And what is advantage of this DBC? So many operations are possible. There are no single point of failure. So what does it mean? It means that if there is a failure at one server or a client lost its code, so it can take a copy from another. So the client may push towards server if server failed, and client can download it copy from server if that client lost its data. And what is disadvantage? So the disadvantage is it distributed version control system is difficult and complex to manage. So next, this is comparison between centralized version control system and distributed version control system. So computer A and computer B can do checkout, check-in in single server. This centralized version uh, control server, version 1, version 2, version 3, all version are being kept in this version database. Then, but in this GitHub, what happens? Basically, user 1, user 2, user and user 3 all have the same repository, and they can keep on exchanging and keep on communicating with each other. And at the end, administrator can do commit on main server. Then Git is a project, open source project, which is for the distributed version control system. So it has various commands, it has server and it has client. So how it manages with the command line argument. So it tracks basically changes between the source code file during software development. So as soon as you develop some significant functionality, you try to put it in the Git repository, although final commit will be done by the administrator. Then it is basically used to design and coordinate among programmers. So many programmers could be there in a software project. So many programmers can do software development at parallel with the same repository. Then it includes basically it helps in doing the speed and data integrity. So speed of development could become faster. Data integrity becomes very good with this. Basically, it supports distributed and non-linear workflow. So what does it mean? So it means that there are distributed systems out there, and there is non-linear workflow means uh, no proper sequence of doing work. It is complex, and any client can do coding and commit. Then means push the code. A commit will be done by administrator. Then it was been invented by Linus Torvald, who also invented that Linux kernel. So this GitHub has been developed in 2005. Then Git Directory is one of the way of helping developer to store a repository of the code base, and it is independent of network or central server. So uh, because of commands that are there of push and pull, so it manages that server manages the repository at multiple places. So what happens in Git? Basically, this a local server has been created at every with client and with the main server. So server is the central server is the main thing in this, but every local host itself have a small code based server. So for a storage for repository. Then GitHub is a website. There's a difference. Git is a open source project, and GitHub is a website which is owned by Microsoft. So this is GitHub is a web hosting for large size of software development, distributed version control system. It is functionality to do. It does source code management. These are software engineering terms. So source code management, distributed version control system, software development. Then GitHub, what are the features of GitHub? So the features of GitHub are like bug tracking, continuous integration, change management. So there are features like what kind of request feature request are required. The task management, that how the tasks are being managed. For the GitHub repository management, there are wikis means various type of documentation happens in the backend. So this GitHub feature has all these things: bug tracking, continuous integration, change management, feature request, task management, wikis. Then what are the main commands and the functionality? The main functionality and commands are like branching, merging, fetching, commit, for new push files. So there are various type of push and pull commands are there. For branching means different branch of codes are being created. Then merging of a code of client to the main repository. Then fetching the code, committing the final changes to the repository. Then pull is to bring code from server to the local laptop or machine. Then this cloning is also been there uh, for the existing repository or files. Then in January 2020, GitHub reports 40 million users are there, and there are 190 million repository and 28 million plus public repository. So what does it mean? It is very large amount of source code database, or uh, the project of documentation are being stored on GitHub. So it is making one of the largest hosting for host for source codes in the world. And GitHub Desktop. What is GitHub Desktop? So some of the people don't like command prompt and command based argumentation to be done. So they can use and manage and access with the GitHub Desktop. What is that? It is client for repository as a service. So you assume GitHub as a repository as a service, and this client is like a app, Facebook app. So like you manages Facebook app on mobile or in the website. So you can manage. Then what happens here also in GitHub? You can manage with the app. What is that app named? GitHub Desktop. Then what it makes simplified? So it basically simplifies development workflow and abstracting GitHub commands. All these Git abstraction will be done. Then what it do, what are the features it has? It has 6 features that were discussed here. It has attribute to do commit with collaborators, so there are multiple co-authors could possible. They can communicate with each other through this app, and they don't need to worry about commands. Then checkout of branches with pull request means from server they can pull the request, and they can view the commit status means exact date of when it is being committed over here like this. So this committed for Mona and Dubot committed 4 days ago. So they can check for the branches current branch. So check status. So these are the things that it provides. Syntax highlight of highlight diff, highlighting when the view diff. So this is green part is for the addition. This blue part is for the modification. So this line has been modified. Then red part, this line has been deleted. So this is the purpose of this desktop as a service. So better GUI, graphical user interface is there. Then it expands the image difference support, means there will be a image will be created where the particular differences are there. There could be thousands of lines of code which can't be seen so easily. What are the changes? So the amount of changes you can see in a small image with different colors: blue, green, and red. So 3 colors. How much that image has a difference. So this comparison could be done with the change, means just a visual analytics you can do. Not if you want to go into detail, you have to go into the code. So the code need to be changed. But this image diff is just 2 images, older version, newer version, and with different color, 3 different colors, and it's just lines. And then the extensive editors are there, like you can embed shell integrator. So this, if you like some editor, so you can extensively add that editor to this GitHub desktop. Then open source community is there, you can contribute and collaborate. So if you want to improve this GitHub desktop, so you can contribute, it's open source development. Then this is example, this is picture of how this, you can see changes, you can see history, these are the history, merge, branch, release. So these are the, then this is the changes, blue one is modification, green one is addition of code. So these lines are added, these lines are deleted from older version, so you can do comparison. Then there's a terminology called Git-LFS, Git large file system. What is Git large file system? So sometimes with the project, you have some larger files like large audio file, large video file, large data sets are there, some graphical files are there. So in this, such condition, what you need to do, you need to manage that file with the repository. So it becomes very hectic for repository to manage. So instead of this, what there is a solution is that then the larger file will be stored in Git-LFS. So this large file storage will actually store the large file. And what repository, main repository will store? Main repository will store link for that Git-LFS. So Git-LFS will actually stores that large file, and main repository at Git will only stores what? Link. And this file.pds is actually very large file, what in this example. So Git-LFS basically replace that large file with text pointer inside the Git. So the main repository have a file named with file.pds. File.pds contains what? Simple link. What is that link? Link towards Git-LFS. So this is that example. So various codes are there. Now this file PDS, instead of storing file PDS to the Git repository, it will be stored in large file storage, Git-LFS. And this file over there in repository contains only link towards this Git-LFS. Then github.com and GitHub Enterprise is there. So basically Git-LFS is Git large file installation, Git-LFS is there. You do Git addition of this file.pds. You can add this file.pds, then you can commit, basically add design file. So you can commit these files to the remote server. Then you can push towards the main origin. So these are the commands for adding that Git large file. So large file is first you install Git-LFS in your local laptop or machine. Then you in that Git repository you just add file.pds, and you have to push it to the origin. So this is how you can add a large file. Then in the next class we'll discuss cloud security and privacy policy. So I hope there's no issue related to this. Anyone have any doubt or question, or we'll wind up? Okay, so we'll meet in next class. Bye.